The Jaguar Xk8 succeeded the XJS in 1996 and was produced until 2006. Compared to its predecessor, the Xk8 had smoother lines, better performance and a more luxurious interior. It also had a stiffer chassis and improved handling. The Xk8 came with a 4-litre naturally aspirated V8 engine, then later models were then upgraded to the 4.2-litre. Overall, the Xk8 was a more refined and more modern take on the classic Jaguar and sports cars that we know, built on the legacy of the XJS while incorporating updated technology and design.
A little bit about the car. It is a 4-litre naturally aspirated V8 pushing about 300 horsepower and about 300 torque. So as you can see, it's not in immaculate condition. We do have plans for this car. We'll walk around and show a few of the issues that there is now. So as you can see, there's quite a lot of damage on the window sills here. It's not, pushed in exactly. So that's on the list to do. Then on the wheel arches, we do have a little bit of damage. You can see I've done a little bit already, which you'll see later in the video. A lot of rust, so we're in the process of treating all that rust, fillering it. We do have some plans for this car. Same goes again, another one on the back. And again on this side, we're in the process of repairing that bit and this bit here. So the plans we've got for this car is, most importantly, we're going to wrap it. We do have the wrap on order. We're currently just waiting for that to be delivered. We have gone for a matte black. I think it'll look quite sleek with matte black. I'm going to go for a big DJW wing here. My personal preference. I know a lot of you are going to say it's going to ruin the aesthetics of the car, but ride height at the back is quite big compared to the front end of the car. So we're actually going to buy some lowering springs for the back to try and make it a bit more flush instead of sitting at a 45-degree angle. So on the inside, because it's pretty outdated with the wood, we're going to heat treat that, bring it back to its former colour. We're going to keep that wood there. Maybe we'll wrap that as well later down the line. And these chairs, don't get me wrong, they're pretty good for 23 years of age. There's about 130,000 miles on the clock at the moment on this car, so it's done okay for its age. But we're going to change out this cream colour, probably for like a black with red stitching in there, but that'll be quite a lot further down the line, so I think that's a bigger project, having to rip all of the interior out, trim it and then re-put it back in. Say for the headliner as well, I wouldn't even call that sagging. I'd say it's just deleted itself at this point. Got pins in there holding it. So what we're going to do is we're either going to re-adhesive this one for about 30-40 quid, or we can buy a brand new one for about 100. Might get the new one just so it's a straight swap in and swap out. It's very simple. We're also going to try and put starlights in there. There's going to be a poor man's Rolls Royce / Porsche. So another thing that we do want to get is new wheels to this. This is just the stock wheels. They are very chunky boys. That wasn't me. It has got a catback exhaust. Took out the mufflers on each side. We took out 4 mufflers so you can get a bit more of that grungy V8. Might potentially straight pipe. Don't know how the police are going to do well with that, but we're going to want to change that as well at some point, either to a new version of this or the new XK steering wheel. Maybe potentially get some big boy speakers in there so we can cruise down the road, listen to Venga Boys on full blast. So as you've probably seen also on Drive Tribe, they've also had an Xk8, but it was the supercharged version of this car, which unfortunately that isn't the case for this one. But most importantly, they manual swapped this car, getting rid of the big torque converter out of here, and it released about 90 horsepower just having it as a manual, getting rid of that torque converter. And obviously weighs quite a lot. We're going to be able to then release a lot of weight and a lot of horsepower to make this a lot faster. And then just to make matters even worse, yeah, we'll ignore that for now.
I purchased this car in the end of 2022, not even starting my driving test. I thought of the idea of having a 4-litre V8 as my first car at the age of 21 and 22 sounded insane, and which it is ridiculous. My plan to this car is to make it a one of a kind by adding my own touches to this car, making it a proper head turner. I think before we jump into anything, it's only right we hear what the car sounds like. Now it's time to bring the car home and start working on the car.
We're going to now go ahead and get on to fixing the dial chrome ring. I mean, it's a 2-second job. We should be able to put it on, just exactly super glue it on and then bang, it's on.
So we're literally just applying some cheap super glue from Poundland onto the back of the ring, making sure we're getting in the right place, trying to memorize which way it goes in because it's not 100% oval. Going to then push it in, just hold it and it's straight in and it's not moving. Now we're going to work our way on the outside of the car to the more important parts. We're going to now treat the rusted areas of the car. Like I say, I've done this previously to the car and I used the cheapest products on the market and I can say it didn't go very well. The grey colour that you can see was primer that I put over there just to protect it, but it didn't do too well. So now we're just going to go around the car and we're going to remove all of those patches of where I previously have done this and taken it back to bare metal, and we're going to do this by hand this time just so we can get more precision in there, just to make sure we're not scratching too much more paint than what we need to. So the products that I'm going to be using to actually do this rust removal and repair the bodywork is I'm going to use some sandpaper. There's 30 different types of paper in there. We're going to use that to take off the primer to get back to where the rust is, because you can slightly see there's rust showing. Then we're going to also use fur tan, and I can say this is the best thing that I've ever used on rust. I've used different ones, but this by far is amazing. This will turn the rust into a metal, giving it the structural integrity it once had. Another thing that I'd like to point out is I'm not a professional when it comes to mechanics, bodywork or anything like that. This is all new to me. So I'm going to take you along the process of me learning this and turning this car into something completely different. Any comments down below that would be any helpful for me, suggestions on how to do things right, or any better ways just to help me improve would be very much appreciated. So if you can drop them down below. Now that we've completed the left hand side of the car and the back wheel arch, we're going to now move on to the right hand side. Now, this side of the car is actually a lot worse than the previous side, so I'm going to go ahead and remove what I previously applied in there, getting back to the metal where the rust is. Now we're going to now apply the fur tan and leave that to set for then to that to convert into metal, and then we'll repeat the process once again. Then moving on to the same wheel arch just on the opposite side, we're going to repeat that process we've just done. We're going to remove what was previously there, and then we're going to apply fur tan.
Like I say, we're now on day 2 of Project Jag. I don't know what we're going to call this, but now we've let the rust treatment sit overnight. We're going to go ahead and do what it says on the back of the can, which is just to rub it off with some water, and it should be black where there was rust, which it should have converted into metal. So let's go check it. So yeah, as you can see where the black is, that's where it was rust, and it's now converted that back to metal. So obviously I did put a bit of excess on there, as we can tell, but I thought better to be safe than sorry. So now I'm going to wipe this off, probably go over with the filler again with these little holes there is. Do that on all sides. So let's get into it. So now in theory we should be able to get a bit of wet cloth and simply rub.
Simply just going to get a wet piece of tissue, dip it in water and slowly rub off the fur tan that was excessively on there.
I did not see that rust before, that amount. That's how well this is, how very good this product is.
Then again, we're just going to remove the leftover rust remover on there so we can see how much of an impact it's made. Now what you can see me doing is I'm mixing the body filler together. This was just a £9 body filler from Halvers. I can say it's very good for £9. The one I previously paid £12 was nothing compared to this. I would highly recommend this, especially if you have no previous experience doing this. So simply we're just going to get the spatula, we're going to keep eyeing it all over that area that we previously have had rust. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little bit thicker than what the bodywork is, where the paint line currently is, so it's easier to sand into place, because we don't want to have any bubbles, dents or gaps in there, because once we apply the vinyl they're going to heat shrink into those and it's going to be quite distinctive that there's holes there. So we're going to try our best to get it as flush as I can with the paintwork, and unfortunately it's not just going to be a one take, it's going to take numerous times of going over and over to get it perfect, but the end result will be a lot better with it fully wrapped. This is once it's fully dried, pretty much you're going to go over again, just make the layers a little bit thicker with another coat. Same goes again for this wheel arch. We have the bad side on the other side. We're going to apply excessive amount here. It doesn't look very pretty, but like I say, once it's sanded down into shape and we've got that smooth line back, it will look amazing with the vinyl wrap being on top of there.
It's a bit of a mess at the minute, but it's a lot thicker than the original paint, so we should be able to sand it down very easy into shape.
And we're going to follow the same process that I've done 100 times. We're going to sand it down, get it nice and smooth again. Like I say, I have done this numerous times to get this perfect. You can see I'm scratching the paint a little bit, but obviously as we're wrapping, I'm not too concerned on that. And if later comes down the line, we do need to paint color correct it. It's not the end of the world, it's not too bad of an area. So I'm just going to take some hard grit sandpaper and I'm just slowly keep working my way through this by hand, just to make sure I can get a better finish than using a machine to do this. I think just using the hand power will turn out a lot better and a lot smoother. It'll also be a lot more accurate. So we're going to work our way down. We're going to keep sanding it. There's going to be a lot of dust coming off, but eventually we're going to get to a point where it's all nice and smooth. So if you ever enjoyed the video, a big thumbs up would be very much appreciated, and I hope you enjoy and you're going to follow along this journey with me, learning as I go along. But unfortunately, that's all we've got time for in this episode.